Over the past many years, we have watched in shock and dismay as many American universities have abandoned their higher mission, succumbed to ideological fads, and actively turned against Jewish students while abandoning our noblest Western ideals. Well, today, I come before you in a spirit of great optimism as we announce the official launch of a new Tikvah partnership with the Hamilton Center at the University of Florida. Our strategy is clear: to create a new program dedicated to teaching the best of Jewish, Western, and American civilization. A new scholarship program committed to investing in young men and women with exceptional leadership potential, and a new study abroad initiative in Israel that immerses the rising generation and the historic significance of the Jewish state. While so many universities continue their steady decline, Tikvah's mission is to help revitalize and renew. Of course, the crisis of the American university is not a new story. Nearly 40 years ago, the great philosophy professor Alan Bloom wrote a famous book called The Closing of the American Mind, in which he described how the spirit of relativism was flattening the souls of American students. The academy had given up on the wisdom-seeking spirit of Socrates, embracing instead a dollar store version of Nietzsche, an ironic nihilism that reduced human life to small-minded narcissism. Bloom was right to worry about a generation of souls without longing, but he also missed something important: that American universities at their best were both philosophical and Hebraic institutions, and that they needed to recover the moral vision of Genesis as much as Plato, the political lessons of Deuteronomy as much as Thucydides, the theological imagination of the Psalms as much as the tragic vision of Aeschylus. The true opening of the American mind requires the renewal of the American soul. And the American soul was shaped, in the deepest ways, by the spirit of the Israelite Exodus, seeking liberty against tyranny and creating a new covenant in the new world that renewed the Hebraic covenant of old. This is why the campus radicals are so obsessed with the Jews, even if they don't fully understand their own obsession. The Jews represent America at her best: covenantal, meritocratic, and free. The attack on the Jews in Israel is really an attack on America in the West. Well, over the past few decades, we have seen what happens when American universities lose their soul. Relativism turns into a new kind of absolutism, reducing the majestic human story to a petty struggle for power, and casting the Jewish people and the American people as in the false role of oppressors. This is all silly and absurd, but it has very significant consequences, denying our students access to the best of their Jewish, Western, and American inheritance. Today, I believe, a new chapter begins in Gainesville as we launch our new BA initiative and fellowship program at the University of Florida. Our Florida strategy has 4 core pillars. First, we believe that the cultivation of Jewish and American leaders requires providing the rising generation with a true liberal education in the great texts and ideas that have shaped the moral and political spirit of the West, in the hard-won lessons of history that ought to guide statesmen and policymakers, in the civic arts of economics, strategy, and law that allow us to preserve ordered liberty, and in the exceptional achievements and providential significance of America, the only nation capable of defending the Hebraic way of life in a world of great dangers and great powers. As we will read later this week in synagogues around the world, even Moses turned to Jethro for wisdom on the arts of leadership. So must young Jews turn to Homer, Shakespeare, Adam Smith, and Edmund Burke in search of wisdom about the good life and free society. This is why our partnership with the Hamilton Center at Florida is so unique. We are building upon a faculty of roughly 50 great teachers and scholars, recruited intensively to Gainesville over the past 2 years, who together embody the best of every major field of humanistic learning. Led by its visionary dean, Will Inboden, The Hamilton Center is devoted to the proposition that the role of a university is the transmission of wisdom, the unfettered pursuit of truth, and the education of civic leaders who seek to preserve and defend America and the West. Our second core pillar is that Jewish ideas lie at the heart of Western civilization, and that any serious course of study dedicated to preparing the rising generation for lives of leadership and purpose should put Jewish civilization at its core. This is true for every American student, and especially true for young Jews who want to heed the royal summons of being the chosen people. Thanks to a remarkable founding gift by the Beren family, we are thrilled to announce the creation of the Robert-m-Beren-Program on Jewish classical education, an initiative that will put the finest Jewish minds and greatest Jewish books at the heart of the Hamilton Center faculty and curriculum. At the Robert-m-Beren Program, our students will study the biblical vision of human nature, the rabbinic idea of law, the Hebraic influence on the American founding, the heroic rise of modern Zionism, the rebirth of modern Israel, and the civilizational struggle between the Hebraic way of life and the new Marxist-Islamist alliance that now seeks to destroy it. Our third core pillar is that we believe it is imperative to invest in students with true leadership potential, including the many talented graduates of Tikvah's high school programs. Thanks to remarkable gifts by Gary and Lee Rosenthal and Paul and Karen Levy, we are thrilled to announce the creation of a major new fellowship for undergraduates called the Rosenthal-Levy Scholars Program. Modeled after other elite scholarships, such as the Rhodes and the Moorhead Cain, the Rosenthal-Levy Scholars Program will recruit and select young men and women committed to understanding the best of Jewish and Western civilization, and to serving the Jewish people and the American Republic in the civic arena. The Rosenthal-Levy Scholars Program at the University of Florida will be the highest level investment that Tikvah makes in our students, and hopefully a model for similar programs in the years ahead at other partner universities. The final pillar of our new initiative is to build a major new center for undergraduate study abroad in Israel. Only in Israel can our students encounter the biblical vision of mankind in the sacred land of the Jewish people. Only in Israel can our students fully understand how the longing for return to the Holy Land preserved our people in exile. Only in Israel can our students fully fathom the heroic story of modern Zionism. And only in Israel can they see firsthand an ancient people that believes in the future, a courageous people that believes in human freedom, a dynamic people that creates, builds, fights, and prays for the preservation of Jewish civilization in full. Our Israel program will aim to be truly unique, designed to educate and inspire Rosenthal-Levy scholars and other Hamilton Center students of all backgrounds who are interested in strategy and defense, in the Hebrew Bible, in the Israelite ideas that inspired the West, and in how the Jews reconstituted their sovereignty as a people in the same decade that they were nearly annihilated in Europe, in what is surely the most remarkable political achievement of the 20th century, and perhaps in all of modern political life. Jerusalem, as Leon Kass declared in his 2023 Herzl Prize address, is the moral capital of the Western world. Tel Aviv is one of the technological capitals of the modern age. And Israel is now one of the most important strategic nation states in the world. Our students will be invited to understand why. Of course, many promising Tikvah students will continue to attend universities like Princeton, Rutgers, Penn, Michigan, and others. We will serve them too through Tikvah's ever-expanding campus chapters, summer programs, and national conferences. We will seek to educate and inspire young Jewish leaders and potential leaders wherever we can find them. But we also believe that the time is now for a new citadel of Jewish and civic formation, shaped by great teachers and great books. This is what the Florida Project seeks to achieve. And if we are successful in Florida, I believe we can replicate this vision in other universities across America, ushering in a new age of renewal, a new birth of liberal learning, informed by the Hebraic spirit that remains the lifeblood of our nation, our people, and our sacred way of life.